All right, hey everybody, this is Tommy from Meg and Jean's Secret Family and from Riot City Studios. So I have the mix that we did of our debut single, Foxes in the Hen House.
And we keeping the peace away with all the false alarm. 'Cause yeah, we got foxes in the hen house now. But you better leave them little hens alone. Yeah, you better leave. 'Cause yeah, we got foxes in the hen house now.
So let's dig in. I'm going to play a little bit here.
I put on a wolfish head and it gave me power.
So we have all of our tracks here. We did multi-track this, so I just recorded the drums on my own one day, and then they came in and recorded their parts separately. It was just easier that way. I have a bunch of drum tracks here, so let's check out the drums once the beat kicks in here.
Gave me power.
So one thing you might not have heard, or you might have noticed in the mix for the song, is this exploding kind of sounding kick drum that I put in here.
Gave me power.
So I just wanted, those downbeats to just be really powerful and forceful, and I wanted the song to be really big and heavy sounding. So I just, started experimenting with effects on that. I thought that was kind of a cool thing. We got kick in, kick out. Pretty typical stuff. I did a snare top and bottom. This is just the mics on the snare. With a lot of reverb, and then you add in the trigger for a little extra, power there. I did 2 stereo overheads, pretty typical stuff. I did top and bottom on the toms, so I have a mic on the top and bottom of each one. And there's no triggering there, so. I love having that bottom mic on the toms because it doesn't pick up a lot of anything else, and it's really, really easy to work with. I know a lot of people don't use them even in the studio, but you don't have to gate them too much, and they just add a lot of thunderous low end if you want it, and you don't really have to use it, but I think it's great. One thing that people do use a lot, I see a lot of my favorite producers using, is a hi-hat mic. And I just barely, I put one up, but it's barely there.
Nature's charm.
Just for a little clarity, but I just generally don't like having the hi-hat mic. There's plenty of hi-hats in my mix, but I used it just in the verses for that. Otherwise, the other interesting thing I did is put a kit mic on. Not a kick, but a kit mic. I saw Jack Joseph Puig do this in a video, and I wanted to copy it because I thought it was really cool. So it's because I don't have a big room. I don't have a big drum room at my studio. So this is kind of like a room mic, but you just put it a little closer to the kit, and it sort of just picks up the kit in its entirety really nicely. So this is that.
But you better leave.
And there's a little bit of compression on that, but Nothing fancy, really. A lot of EQ. Just picks up a nice sound of everything. Cymbals, snare, toms, and gives it a realness to the drum sound instead of just having a bunch of closed mics. So that's kind of the drums. I can solo those again. Then we add the bass. So with bass, Megan laid this down pretty quick. It was a Fender Jazz bass that they have a really nice bass. I just DI'd it right into my Great River, I believe, and put a little EQ on there, probably a little compression here. Yeah, you can see the compression lighting up there. I mean, it's nothing crazy there, and you can see I experimented with a virtual amp and effects and stuff like that, and just didn't end up thinking I needed it. I mean, it's just a thunderous bass tone, and the way the bass is set up, and that she plays it. I mean, the tone that she gets out of it is already, it has a little gain to it. Plus, what I was able to get out of the preamp, so I just like the bass tone as is.
In the Hen House now.
So, I thought that was great. It really resonates in my car, like in my subwoofer and everything like that. So, and then we have Burn on guitar. He just laid down one track, and then I kind of took some takes from it and did a double here. And so it looks like we put a 57 and a ribbon, probably the Royer 121 on his guitar amp. He just used a little Fender Champ. It's like a practice amp. It's just a little guy, but it was fine. He ran through some pedals, but let's check that out. That's in the intro here. Let's check it out in the beat. And I really liked the kind of slap back and delay effect he had, which he just used in pedals, and then I accentuated it with some automation here to a let's see what this goes to echo or delay. So when he hits that big note on one, it just gives a little echo to that, and I think I put that in stereo too. So it goes from being kind of just a mono guitar track to all of a sudden in stereo it hits you for a second. So it gives it a little power there. And then I took, again, this extra guitar. I don't think he did a separate take for this. I think I just manipulated some of the other takes he had. So if we look, so I was able to pan these and get a little stereo effect too. So all together. A lot of reverb and delay on that. We've sent this off for feedback and playlist submissions and stuff like that, and we get a lot of positive feedback about his guitar. People just rave about it, and I think it's a really cool line. It really kind of makes the song. It's part of the hook, in my opinion. And he just plays really cool lines. Byrne has a very, very unique style of playing electric guitar because he's like originally a bassist, and he's a multi-instrumentalist. He plays the banjo, and so his approach to guitar is actually like with he uses like a claw hammer technique. So he doesn't use a pick, and it's just a really unique thing that he does, which is really cool. And then we move on to everyone's favorite our vocals here. Let's check this out.
I put on a wolfish head and it gave me powers like I could sleep up amongst the sheep in their ivory tower.
You can see we cut up a couple takes here, but you know, vocals with Meg and Jean is really easy as far as tracking them. I put a U87 up. I think we tried some different mics. She actually has a really cool vintage AKG C414 for anyone who cares. But it was a lot warmer sounding, and I liked the crispness of the Neumann, the U87. So that's what we used.
Foxes in the hen house, no, but you better leave them little.
And I mean, again, it's just really easy and fun recording her vocals. So I actually took some of the super high end stuff out in the EQ, and then left the rest the same. Definitely compressing.
Little hens alone. Foxes in the hen house.
You know, as needed there. De-es it, and then I'm not even not sure if I'm even ever using that. Doesn't look like I'm using that EQ. A little bit of reverb, you know. And in this opening bit, I put lo-fi, you know, effect on all this stuff. So instead of doing it on the master mix, I was just playing with it, and I ended up keeping it. So I just basically put it on the guitar track and used automation, and I did the same thing with bass. So real quick, going back to that intro, you can see how this effect was sort of done. This is the guitar. All the guitars go to this track here, and you can see the EQ I've done to make this lo-fi sounding here. You know, I'll skip ahead here. You know, and I did the same kind of thing on the bass, where if we take it back here, you'll see the EQ change. I just took out the low end of it, so it sounds really thin and tinny. And with the drums on that, I just really boosted the room mic and turned down everything else. You know, so, and then when the beat kicks in, I just basically turned up all the other mics and, you know, took out the room mic. So that's that, and then I put in all these effects, you know. So this is some cool effects that we get to here. Of course, the reverse cymbal is crucial. We can check that out. Like so. Reverse cymbal, totally crucial there. So easy. I use it like all the time. I try not to overuse it. And then this cool effect that I put on the keyboards here, and I actually play this live too when I drum. I just go to one hand and zip up the keyboard here. But this is a different keyboard than what I use live, but it's a really cool effect. And as soon as I found it, we were like, yeah, that's awesome. Let's use that. Here's that keyboard effect. It's just so wicked. It's so strong and like in your face. I love it. What is that even? Let's take a look. So it's just, this stuff comes with Cubase. You know, these instruments, and it's the blip organ. So, you know, pretty easy there. And then I think I played it through. I think I like messed up my thumb doing it too, but it was worth it. Totally worth it. So let's check all that out in the intro here, going into the verse. just again, it just adds a lot of power to that downbeat, which is really cool. And going back to vocals here, this is something that's going to be really awesome to show. And this was, again, just so much fun to record. Megan actually, I'm pretty sure she one-taked some of this stuff. We did a couple takes on that. Yeah, that's one take. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. But let's check out these backup vocals here is what we're talking about. So I'll play her main vocal too. The bass in there.
Foxes in the hen house. No.
Sorry about that. Here's the backups in there.
Foxes in the hen house. No. But you better leave. Yeah, you better leave them alone. Yeah, you better leave them. Foxes.
Just the backups.
Ooh, foxes. Isn't it a shame, shame, shame? Isn't it a shame? Isn't it a shame, shame, shame? Isn't it a shame?
Yeah, it's just so killer.
Foxes. Ooh, foxes. Yeah, you better leave them alone. Yeah, you better leave them. Foxes.
And again, you know, it's very easy. You just throw up a mic and she just does that. So it's really cool. I think it's a 3-part harmony. And we just did like 2 tracks of each. I might have panned them. It just seems like something I would do. And then, you know, reverb and DS, which I'm pretty heavy on the DS-er in general, but definitely on backup vocals. Then I'll send them to this backups track, put some chorus on there. To really thicken it up. You know, not a lot of EQ happening there. It's just easy. I'm gonna check it out in the mix. It's so cool. And it's a very like old school funky kind of sound that we wanted to have in there. And you know, I just love it. That was one of the last things we did, and it was just like boom, she just knocked it out like super fast. We're like, okay, well, that's in the song now. And then Burn actually took over some keyboard duties here and just threw this down off the top of his head. So I'll play some drum tracks and bass, give you a reference. And this is for the bridge of the song. And again, this is just Cubase stuff here. Let's see. Rock organ. You can see what he played here.
In darkness you forgave us, but we'll practice no disgraces in the holiest of places.
And it just really, because we are just fully rocking out here, and it's nice to have that thick layer that really helps that. The whole bridge section going into the last chorus really we're just letting it all out. And so I love the keys he threw down there, and it was really easy to find a good sounding keyboard in there too. We just picked something real quick, and that worked. So it's the same with Burn. I mean, when you give him a keyboard or a bass or guitar or anything, you don't need to do very many takes. Looked like that was the second take, and you know, I don't think he had planned to play that or anything. He was just like, yeah, I can play a keyboard part. You know, so it's really, really easy to record them. I probably did more editing on the drums than anything, to be honest. But that's the gist. That's the song. And again, I just did not a ton of effects. If we look at my inserts here, I do use this SSL native on like every track now because I have the hardware controller for it. So it's an EQ and compression right there. I did some sidechain compression. I did some gating. I did some de-essing. I definitely did some reverb and delay. Um, and that's going to be about the gist of it. And then I went ahead and just mastered it right here in the session. So it was all just like I said, I just keep it simple, especially when I'm recording my own band. But we got some EQ, a little bit of grit or distortion or warmth there, a multi-band, post EQ, just get rid of that muddiness, and maximization, get the volume up, and that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, let us know, and let me know what you think about this. But it's been a really, really fun project for me to play on, and also to mix. And it's just been great. We're thrilled with the song. We've been getting a great response on it. So thanks for checking it out.